Welcome to the Double Duty Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Carla Higgins, and you've tuned into the Coach's Corner. This is a segment where we tackle real world challenges submitted by our listeners, and sometimes I'll even call a strategic play you can put into action right away. Each week, we dive into the questions, roadblocks, and opportunities you're facing as a double duty agent. Whether it's mastering your time use management, finding that next client, or staying motivated after a long day of work at your 9 to 5, Coach's Corner is here to provide you with practical solutions and actionable steps to keep your business moving forward. So grab your notepad because we're about to break down a new challenge or hand you a winning play you can implement today to start seeing results. So let's jump right in. Welcome. It's time for another Coach's Corner. And if you've been around the Double Duty Agent podcast very long, you know I'm always excited. But today I'm especially excited because what we have to talk about is one of my very favorite things. And there's a reason for that. We are going to be talking about a magic question today. And what makes this question magic is that if you employ this magic question in your daily conversations, well, it is going to guarantee your success in real estate. And I mean that. It is an absolute 100% guarantee. If you use the magic question consistently, regularly, you will be successful. So, are you excited now? You should be, because this is a game changer. We're going to be talking about a magic question, and I'm going to make reference to something. I'm going to tell you that a lot of this came to me after reading a book and spending some time listening to Phil Jones. And Phil Jones is amazing. He's an amazing speaker, and he wrote a book. It's called Exactly What to Say. And in fact, he wrote a second book that's called Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents, and both of them are amazing. I'm going to put the links to those books in the show notes, because not only does he reference the magic question, but he's got a lot of other really great tips and tricks for you that you can use in your conversations, whether you're working on objection handlers, or you're working on your listing presentation, or your buyer strategy session, or just your lead generation in general. But this magic question, this is the one I want to make sure that you learn today, because this is the single most powerful one that there is. So it's simple. And sometimes when things are simple, our brains are like, that's too simple. That can't be the answer. I promise you, this is the answer. This is the answer that will help you overcome your lead generation challenges. It's just magic. It is. I tell you, it's magic. So here we go. Why it works. Before we talk about the question, let's talk about why it works. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to give you the question, and then we'll talk about why it works. Here's the question. So get your paper and pen out, because you want to write this down. It's actually so simple, you may not even need to write it down. But here it is. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate this year? Right? It's that simple. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate this year? You can also ask it in the phrase of, who do you know that might want to buy or sell a house this year? It could be, who do you know that might be interested in attending my open house this weekend? But mostly it's, who do you know that might need my help with real estate this year? So there's the magic question. And it's really that beginning. Who do you know? That's what makes it magic. Who do you know? Okay. Let's talk about why. Your reticular activator system. Every human being has one. It's part of our brain. It's called the reticular activator system. Have you ever heard of that? Some people call it the RAS, RAS, the RAS. So here's what happens. When you ask someone, who do you know that might need my help with real estate? You're engaging their RAS, their reticular activating system. The RAS is responsible for filtering. It's for filtering information that gets through to our conscious level. I mean, if you think about it every day, we have so many things that are going on around us. And if we didn't have a filter that kept some things from not coming through, we would get overwhelmed. Our brain would go like whatever. It would just overload. Steam would be coming out our ears, like in the old cartoons that we saw, right? And our reticular activator, it is what protects us. So it governs what gets through. For example, let's think about this. If you've ever started thinking about buying a certain type of car and you really don't see very many of those cars, and then once you start thinking about seeing it, all of a sudden you see them everywhere. That's your Raz at work. I have an example. It just happened a couple weeks ago. I had decided I wanted to buy a camper because I want to spend more time outdoors. That's super important. I want to spend more time outdoors, not inside the four walls of a building. And, but I didn't want to sleep in a tent. So I wanted a camper, but I wanted a small one because I didn't want to buy a new vehicle. I wanted to use my SUV. So I started researching online and I found this brand. It's called a Scamp. And they build them in Minnesota and they're super cute. They're little, they're 13 feet. I could pull it with my SUV. They're made out of fiberglass, but I really wasn't sure. I've never seen one. I couldn't think of having ever seen one, ever. So I start looking. I look on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist forums, and I find one 2 hours away in Kentucky. And I thought, 2 hours, I can do this. I just go see it and see if this is something that I might be interested in. So I got my dad to come with me, and we get in the car and we're driving down the highway from Indianapolis to Kentucky, 2 hours away. I see three of them on the highway. Three. Never seen one before. Do you think they just magically showed up and they'd never been in my path before? No, it was that my reticular activator was looking for them, and that's how I found them. So when you ask the magic question, this does the same thing to your sphere, your person, whoever the contact is that you're having the conversation with, because they haven't been thinking about somebody who needs help with real estate. But as soon as you ask the magic question, who do you know that might need my help with real estate? Now their Raz is going to start filtering that through and they're going to be on alert to find somebody. Now we combine the Raz with your ego. And if you've spent any time with me, if you've listened to any of our other episodes, you know we talk about the ego. The ego is the part of us that wants to look good and be right. So when we ask someone, who do you know that might need my help with real estate, that says to their brain, to their ego, oh crap, we must know somebody who is it. And when they have to say, I'm sorry, I can't think of anyone, their ego is like, no, 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 we've got to find somebody. We have to look good and be right. So the ego and the Raz combined together, that's what creates the magic. All right. So by asking that magic question, you're activating your contact's RAS and you're also triggering their ego and their need to look good and be right. Now, what a lot of people do is they try to say, do you know? Do you know someone who needs my help with real estate? When I ask you, do you know someone who needs my help with real estate? The likely answer is going to be no. And as soon as they say no, it shuts it off. The conversation is over. The ego didn't get activated. It's not worried. It didn't know anybody. No big deal, right? But who do you know implies to the ego that they must know someone, and there is a continuous loop. Okay, so asking this question, you're going to essentially be recruiting an army of brains. You're going to have an army of brains that's going to be your marketing department. Isn't that exciting? I told you, super exciting today. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about some numbers. This is the numbers game, right? So imagine this. Imagine you ask this question 5 times a day, 5 days a week. I have a double duty 5x5. It is a lead generation system. So this works really well in there. It's a system that I wrote just for double duty agents. If you aren't familiar with the double duty 5x5, in a few weeks, we're going to have another round of Rise of the Double Duty Agent. It's a class that I offer on Thursday evenings. So watch your emails, watch this podcast, and you can come join us and you can learn all about the double duty 5x5. But in the double duty 5x5, we make make 5 calls every day, 5 conversations every day. So we ask this question every time we have a conversation. We end with this question: who do you know that might need my help with real estate? Just 5 times a day, 5 days a week. That's 25 brains at the end of one week out looking for business for you. And at the end of the month, that is 100 brains. You have a marketing department of 100 brains at the end of 1 month looking for business for you. Now, you do this 12 months a year. That is 1,200. You are employing a marketing department of 1,200 brains out looking for business for you. This is why, if you get into the habit of consistently asking the magic question every time you have a conversation with someone, you make everyday, ordinary conversations into lead generation. It's going to be a game changer for you. All right, let's be clear. This is not a one and done kind of question. The beauty of this magic question is its subtlety. Okay. It's not a hard sell and it's not pushy. You don't even have to ask them if they are interested in buying and selling real estate, because when we ask the question, who do you know that might need some help with real estate, and they're thinking about buying or selling, their answer is going to be, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about it. Right. So it's magic. It's absolutely magic. You're not asking for their business directly. You're not even really asking them to do anything, but you are asking for their help. And most people really love helping others. So the more you ask, the more likely they are to remember you when they hear of someone who needs help. That's it. That's all that we're doing here. So, how to incorporate this magic question into your everyday conversations? Well, we're going to start with your lead generation. You need to be calling your database, your sphere of influence, people who already know you, like you, trust you. And this makes that conversation super easy. My framework for calling your database is simply, you've been on my mind. I wanted to call and see, how are you doing? And then we have a conversation. We ask about the Ford, right? If you've done Ignite, we ask about family, occupation, recreation, or dreams. You don't have to ask about all four. Whatever fits in the conversation. How are things with the family? Did the kids get back to school okay? Whatever that is. And then at the end, you say, this has been so great catching up. Before I hang up, I have to ask you a quick question. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate? That's it. You just incorporate it at the very end. Super simple. This small shift will turn your casual conversation, well, it will turn your lead generation into casual conversation, because you don't even have to stress how to bring real estate into the conversation, because it's going to be one simple thing at the very end. Instead of saying whatever you would normally say to close a conversation, this just becomes your closing. Before I let you go, let me ask you a quick question. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate? And then that's going to send them out into the world looking for somebody who needs your help. All right, how about at the grocery store, at the hardware store, if you're at a restaurant, right? The next time you're standing in line at the grocery store or a restaurant on a wait list or waiting at the hardware store, strike up a conversation with the person next to you. Something simple like, oh my gosh, I've never tried that kind of ice cream. Is it really good? Or, looks like you got a big honeydew list. You got working big projects this week. Whatever that is, just strike up a conversation. And when it comes to the end, say, I just wanted to mention real quick, I'm a realtor. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate? And then exchange your contact information. It's so simple. You can add people to your database just by having a casual conversation. And then you send them out in the world looking for somebody who needs your help. You'll be amazed at how many leads come from these everyday casual conversations. And then as double duty agents, you guys have an advantage. If you have a 9 to 5 or another job or another commitment that you have full time, you have an advantage over other real estate agents, because you have a whole nother pool of people, a whole nother group of conversations where you can employ the magic of the magic question. For those of you that have a 9 to 5 job, let's think about this. Whether you're having a casual conversation in the break room, an after hours gathering, on your lunch break, whatever it is, you just say, "Hey, before we wrap up, let me ask you a question. Who do you know that might need my help with real estate?" This will keep you top of mind. The fact that you're in real estate in addition to your 9 to 5 job, and they'll become your marketing department. They won't know it, but they'll be your marketing department, because they will be out looking for business for you. And you'll start seeing opportunities pop up where you least expect them. Okay. So think about this. How can you incorporate the magic question into your lead generation, the magic question into your errand running, your magic question into your friend gatherings, your magic question into your 9 to 5 job? You will become a lead generation machine, and it will be so easy. You won't even have to think of lead generation as one of your job responsibilities, because it will just be a natural course of conversation for you. Now, this is something you have to work on and you have to practice, but it's a pretty darn easy script, don't you think? Who do you know that might need my help with real estate? Not very challenging at all. Here's the challenge I want to put in front of you right now. Commit to asking the magic question 5 times a day, 5 days a week. That's just 5 times a day. Simple, right? Commit to doing this 5 times a day. By the end of the month, you'll have over 100 people out there with their minds primed to find real estate leads just for you. Think of this as planting seeds. It's all it is, planting seeds. Some of them will sprout immediately, and some of them might take time. You're building an ever growing network of potential business just by asking this one simple question. Make it a part of your daily habit. Whether you're at work, running errands, or lead generating from your database, be sure to ask, who do you know that might need my help with real estate before you end the conversation, and let the power of the reticular activator system and the ego go to work for you. Well, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're excited, and I hope you'll commit to this challenge and see what will happen in your business. If your business explodes, I hope you'll let me know because I love hearing those success stories. So that's it for today's Coach's Corner. Keep asking the right questions, and remember, you're never just a real estate agent. You're a resource, a solution provider, and a trusted partner for anyone who needs your help in this real estate world. Until next time, keep going, keep growing, keep rising as a double duty agent, and keep asking the magic question. You got this. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're leaving inspired and you found a key or two you're going to try out this week to see how they help you to unlock your success. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single story. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, you can find me at doubledutypodcast.com. That link is also in the show notes. Until next time, have a productive week.